Discord.
Okay, stopped it from streaming back to us.
Excellent. Hello everyone, please let me know if you can hear me okay. I think we finally resolved our long-running audio issues and should actually be getting going at a reasonable time, so let me know if everything's good.
And now the wait.
And now the wait.
That dragon is so... what's that Sega Saturn RPG series?
Saturn RPG
It has
series.
dragon in the name, and it has dragons look like the one in that cutscene.
Oh, hi Andy. I'm going to get started then. Is the game audio coming through okay? It might be nothing because it was just some quiet audio, so...
Not much of a future for us, huh?
Hard to picture a happy ending.
You don't even know where to go.
I do.
Huh?
There.
Doesn't sound like game audio is coming through.
The Sanctum Seat of Power. Oh, that's a great idea.
Okay, just give us a second. We'll
Get in there. Give him a taste of fal'Cie terror.
Okay, it's just
You're
quiet.
serious?
Keep running. It's die or turn Seath. There's no place for fal'Cie to hide. No. They want to fight? Let's take it to the Sanctum's
Gabby.
door.
This isn't a game.
No. That's for damn sure. Started with Sarah. The fal'Cie took her. Now I'm a fal'Cie too. And the Sanctum's hunting me, an enemy of the state. But who's pulling their strings? A fal'Cie. Eden. Cocoon's sustainer and guiding light. It probably ordered the purge too. Pulse and Sanctum fal'Cie, they're all the same. And we're all the same to them. Expendable. I'm not dying a fal'Cie slave.
So, what are you gonna do?
Destroy it.
By yourself? Are you crazy? Say you pull it off. What's that get you? Satisfaction? Something happens to Eden, it's lights out Cocoon. You want that? You're a post-fal'Cie now, so you just want to snuff out Cocoon.
No! What about Sarah? She said to save Cocoon. It might even be our focus to make sure Cocoon's...
Our focus doesn't matter. I don't take orders from fal'Cie. How I live is up to me.
Don't you mean how you die?
Think like that, and it's already over. Better to pick your path and keep moving. Don't worry. I'm after the Sanctum. I'm not out to destroy the world. If it did come to that, wonder if our hero'd try to stop me.
You want to fight Snow now? Just like that and your enemies?
Next time we meet, we might be too.
When the fear sank in, It tore us all apart. Lightning was suffering, reaching out to us. But none of us could see it.
Snow deserves it.
If only I'd been stronger. None of this ever would have happened. I don't know what I should do.
That makes two of us.
Whoa! Hey! You're taking care of me.
It won't be if you keep pushing me like that.
Wait for me! I'm going with you.
I can't babysit you anymore.
I can fight. I'm not afraid.
Great. A SciComm hit squad.
Let's go with this. Sorry, can you a moment focus on this fight just a little more? It's one of the system doesn't deal with 2 people fights well. It's really designed for you to have 3 players. Although I guess this one's pretty easy, which is good.
You're quiet outside.
Okay.
Not bad.
Really? Thanks.
I can't do stuff.
Uh-oh. Army's out to play.
What now?
What now? I mean, we could stay here, but shouldn't we...
Run?
Huh?
We should run. If we rush in now, we'll just get in her way.
You know, you're right. I guess. I mean, it's not like Lightning needs any help.
There'll be more soldiers. We should keep moving. Lightning? Are you worried about the others? I'm sure they got away okay.
So can you if you leave now. With me, it'll be fight after fight. I don't know how it'll end. It's anybody's guess.
I know that. But I need to be stronger. Lightning,
Call me Light.
what's the plan from here?
Through the Gatra Whitewood to Palampolum. We'll find transport to Eden.
I live in Palampolum. I can show you all the shortcuts.
No side trips.
No need. I don't think fal'Cie are welcome at home.
Palampolum, of course, being a reference to the twin mages from
get
Final
something off
Fantasy
your chest?
IV. So, if this is your first time joining in, I'm playing through the entirety of Final Fantasy XIII in preparation for just in like the lead up to the launch of my own RPG, which was heavily inspired by it, more systems-wise than story-wise. Although, as everyone is reminding me, there's definitely a little bit of story influence in there. But I'm working on an RPG called Get in the Car, Loser, and it's very inspired by this. And I'm sort of going through talking about how talking about like a lot of the combat is based on the systems in this game.
Why don't we go
Because
look ahead?
I really like them a lot. I feel like they got like more interesting as they iterated over the series, and it's been fun like building off them myself. Seeing what sorts of things you can do with them. But unfortunately right now we're in a segment where the party only has 2 members and there's just not much.
Come on, Light.
This system does not work with 2 party members. So
Stay sharp.
That wasn't so bad.
hopefully soon we'll get to see what the paradigm system can actually do. And also right now my paradigms aren't very good. I want one where I'll leave that one in, but what I really want is for Lightning to be a commando and to get healed while that's happening. So let's have that there as an option. Set Super Soldier is active because I want to get those synergist abilities right from the start. And, oh, let's level up. Yes, love to develop further. Okay, so I just unlocked one of the best abilities in the game, Launch. You'll see why very shortly. It's really good. So the Crystarium is not actually like three-dimensional. It's actually mostly completely linear with very small branches, but they decide to render it like this in a way that is visually appealing, a little hard to read, ultimately doesn't actually matter that much. It's not too much of a trouble. I will definitely take Fear Siphon. But yeah, the Crystarium is basically what if it was just orbs all the way down.
Come on, Light.
So Xandra, what's interesting about the combat system here is that like you're not actually picking what abilities you're using. That just happens automatically based on what classes you have selected. The classes are the little 3-letter acronyms next to their names. So right now, Lightning's a commando and Hope's a synergist, where commandos have like attack abilities and synergists have buffs. Right now I'm switching to one where Hope's a healer but Lightning's still a commando. So Hope will just automatically put in healing abilities while he has that class. And now that I'm fully healed, I'm gonna switch back. Actually, I'm gonna switch to one where he's a Ravager. And Ravagers have the ability to boost that stagger meter, which is like the real key to combat in this.
Calm down.
So the game, like combat, is more about like executing game plans than it is like picking attacks, and like it's on a much more abstract level. And also you'll notice that like the level design in this often has these little like alternate paths or like back routes that you can do to flank enemies. That like the idea is that you can like sneak around this guy and hit him from behind, which is what happened there, but ultimately isn't actually that interesting. Delivers devastating physical attacks. Yeah, the sneak attack system is something that was completely overhauled later in the series and works a little bit better. I don't think it's super interesting ever, but they sort of encourage you to use like these weird parts of the geometry as well as using these items that let you get behind them, but ultimately it doesn't really matter, so that's why I haven't been engaging with that system much. Xandra, so what you do is mostly you're hitting auto battle as things go on, but at any point I can press left bumper to do a paradigm shift, and that's what changes the paradigms.
Just stay out of my way.
So hopefully 2 Ravagers will stagger this jerk real quick. So now that he's staggered, I'm increasing the percentage meter, and all your attacks are multiplied by that. But commandos do like extra, like, are especially good for that. And as well, each role has like a hidden bonus associated with it that like just having a commando active in the party means that the stagger meter decreases slower. It's a lot of the tunings in this are like very small and like very complex.
Any trace of the fal'Cie? Nothing. No sign it's been activated. Huh? Who's there?
Come on, Light!
Give it up!
Here!
I think one of the things about this game is that it got kind of a bad rep just because early on it doesn't do a very good job at communicating what's interesting about its combat system. So like, once you get further in, the challenges get really interesting, and
What was SciComm doing here?
Probably thought we'd try and use a pulse machine to escape.
Maybe we should try it. What does this do?
Hey, you're gonna hurt yourself. Don't touch that.
Wait, what if it works?
Leave it. I told you to leave it.
Stop! Stop already! I think I got it. Light, I think I can work this.
Lightning does not want the 14-year-old to have a robot. This is something I don't like about this era of games, just in general. Final Fantasy for a while was really big about like mini games, and I feel like personally I'm always more interested in things that are like really tightly focused around a single idea, so minigame heavy design is always feels like the opposite of that. I mean, to be fair, I am throwing those dudes pretty far. Yes! Stay in formation! I will concede that's pretty funny. Yeah, the fact that the soundtrack is really chill and calm in this bit, I think, does, in fact, really sell it logical. Hope,
Nice
wear your
landing.
seat belt.
Let's get moving.
Just need a minute. I'm still a bit windy.
You're too soft.
Wait up! Hope we find another one of those things.
Hope no. I mean, to be fair, Lightning remembers that they have a mission given to them by a god that they don't know about, it that if they don't complete it, they will turn into they'll turn into mindless ghouls. So she perhaps has a better understanding of the time pressure involved here. God, I mean, they're not very good zombies.
Come on, Light!
Stay out of my way.
Oh yeah, this is the Guardian Corps we're fighting right now, which is just, like, Lightning's co-workers as of, like, 12 hours ago. Sorry, guys. Never really liked your, water cooler small talk anyway.
The road splits here. Which way do we go? on, Light.
Look, Jeff had it coming. Always eating his sandwich from the fridge. Was that really a 5-star win? That didn't feel like 5 stars to me.
Come on, Light.
Hello.
Here.
Please stop shooting me. Andy, I don't think this area is supposed to feel particularly distinct. We'll get to, I think these outskirts areas are supposed to feel, like, relatively samey.
It was a lot easier when we didn't have to walk.
Hope still wants the mech.
Guess we head for the White Room, huh?
Stay sharp.
I'm being told that those grenade beacon things are part of the bestiary, which is maybe not the way I designed that. I guess if you really like using Libra a lot. Personally, I'm not too fussed about that, so whatever. Oh, I see. The cool tube was the way you get around those guys. I feel like part of like the way the level geometry like is built around sneaking up doesn't really work is because you don't like necessarily have a great understanding of the way these corridors are constructed just due to the way the camera swings around a lot, which is a slightly unfortunate aspect. Because yeah, I always just power through them.
This isn't working. I mean, you're a liability. You'll just slow me down.
What?
I'm sorry, but I can't protect you when...
You can't leave me here. You gotta take me with you.
Enough! The whole world is against us. I can barely keep myself alive, let alone some helpless kid! I don't have time to baby you. You want to get tough? Do it on your own! This cannot be happening.
Okay, so this is our second Eidolon battle. It's not as hot as the first one, but you actually have two characters, so these fights are puzzles. You can't die in them, but yeah, so I'm fighting Odin, who will be my summon eventually, if I can prove myself worthy. Oh, okay. I'm going to try healing myself right now. Let's see if that's... No, that doesn't seem to be building the meter quickly.
Take down the enemy.
Oh, wait.
Thanks.
I think I don't have the... No, she has to take damage first to heal it, so this is not working out very well. It also said build chains, so I'm wondering if maybe I want to have a paradigm that's Ravager and Medic, so that way I can build his chain and... Yeah, I'm not gonna win this one. I am gonna I'm gonna let this run. And then adjust my, paradigm. Yeah, what does older shield actually do? Let's find out. Doesn't seem to... I think it's just a shield. Okay.
Just like that.
So, gonna retry this. Adjust my paradigms. Level up a little more, because why not? Okay, let's try this again.
Thanks.
Okay, that did not go well.
Just like that.
Yeah, that's true. I just learned launch and like I haven't been using it at all. This is it'll definitely be really cool once you do finally see it. Do I have any lightning damage reduction abilities? Good question. The thing is, I don't know if I actually want to be reducing that damage because... Okay, 20%, so let's avoid it a little.
Let's go!
Okay, sorry, I just need to,
Just like that.
I am going to not look at chat for a moment just so I can focus on this, because I am, having a little bit of trouble multitasking. I will answer that question once I'm through this fight. Okay, so taking a lot of damage at the start, so let's just go with 2 medics, because that should hopefully do it. Yeah, starting with medic synergist is that's a good idea. Let's try that. I don't think I need War and Peace right now. Oh.
Just like that.
What did I do wrong there? I feel like that was not a bad strategy. Try that again and be a little less free with the paradigm shifts until Hope drops a shell. Okay, so we both have shell and heal, so hopefully we'll take a little less damage, and that'll, while still taking enough for Hope to heal it, and maybe even get some of those points going. Okay, yeah, this seems to be going well. I think both of us are successfully hitting the what it's looking for. If you didn't see the first of these fights, basically the way that these puzzles work is that
Thanks.
you're going up against the boss, and the point isn't to win. They're not killable. The point is to just achieve certain criteria that build up the Gestalt meter. And once that fills up, and also you have Doom cast on you, so that's where that timer going down. So you have to build up the Gestalt meter before time runs out. And each of these have different criteria for what fills it up. In this case, I use scan to find out that he rewards healing, so every time Hope does healing, it's helping out. Okay, got him. also, all the summons turn into cool vehicles. So Shiva was 2 women who turn into a motorcycle. Odin gives you this cool horse. Some of them get really good.
Lightning! Whoa. Your brand looks different. Was that an Eidolon? Like fal'Cie can summon?
Magic and mumbo jumbo. I must have hit my head on that purge train.
No, you can't use the vehicles in the overworld, which makes sense given the way that it's
really in your way?
designed.
I'll do better. I'll try harder.
Although, it would definitely be
We'll toughen
fun
you up.
if that was the case.
I'm sorry about before.
Do I have it? No, I don't have more experience points. Right, someone was asking about weapons. The weapon system in this game is really weird.
fal'Cie!
Got my back?
Yeah.
It's, oh, cool. So we're just gonna show off the Eidolons now. I can spend TP meter, and the TP meter is the one that carries over between fights. So it builds up after you win, but like, if I exhaust it, then that exhaustion will carry over into the next fight until I fill it up again.
Odin.
And yeah, TP is recovered based on how many stars you get, so the better you do in a fight, the more TP you recover.
Cut us a path!
So right now I'm trying to build up that Gestalt meter so that I can ride Odin. Okay, I think that's good. That's
We do this together.
so the way summons in this game work are kind of it's interesting. I don't know if it's how much it really adds, but
Now!
The storm is here. Until next time.
so it gives you a whole other command list that you can use. I guess the thing about them is that they don't really, it doesn't tie into the paradigm system at all, precisely because you're dismissing the rest of the party. but it still does tie into like the other battle systems. Like you still can stagger enemies that way. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like there are times when it's strategically useful to use them, but like only like usually I remember it being like when you're like low on life or something. It's not super interesting. And yeah, the reason why that ended very abruptly was because I used the special finisher move. I should have used several different moves and then followed it up with that one.
We'll stop here.
Sorry.
Don't sweat it.
And I think it's worth noting that Eidolons aren't something that made it into the sequels. They just dropped that idea entirely. So I think like even the designers like couldn't quite find anything truly interesting to pull out of them. Which is, you know, part of iteration. That's like what's interesting.
Not by a long shot.
Yeah, Odin does come back in Lightning Returns, and he's really good in that, the form he takes. It's fairly unexpected.
No sign of soldiers.
Guess lightning got their attention.
I wonder how Hope's doing.
They were headed towards Palimpolum. Kid's on his way home. You can bet on it.
Good for him. What's wrong?
It's good. If they manage to slip in quietly. All of Cocoon is in the grip of pulse-phobia. If a fal'Cie pops up on the radar, all hell will break loose.
They don't even know why they're scared.
Afraid of what they don't know. Afraid to find out more. It gets worse the older you get. I'm terrified of what'll happen. The world probably would be better off without fal'Cie. I mean, most of them.
Gee, thanks. Let's go.
Yeah, hi NORAD. I think that's a valid point about summons that replace your party or being hard to balance. It's just like a difficult, it's just difficult conceptually. Like fundamentally, it has to be as good as your entire party, but that's kind of difficult if to make like actually interesting.
Party says, You'll be okay with me.
because they're just fundamentally less interesting than the actual, than, like, your party is gonna be.
I'm tougher than you thought, huh?
Also didn't feel like 5 stars. Okay, so I will say I love the enemy designs in this game generally. I feel like I would have wanted to evoke the classic Final Fantasy bomb a little more. Like, I think, like, you know, the weird geometry here is good. Because that's, like, very on model with what Final Fantasy XIII is about, but I would have... Oh, no, never mind. I forgot what the attack animation is. They're perfect. I love them. Nailed it.
Wisdom
Love
does
them.
come with age.
I love they definitely move around like the other. The animation is exactly the same.
Yeah, Miguel's saying they animate like classic Final Fantasy bombs, and then like that attack animation where like it gets that monstrous face. That's really good. That's perfect. That is the good shit. Okay, so what do I wanna level up here? So close. Okay, got all my abilities, so it doesn't really matter. What are my paradigms for these two? I guess normally I'd probably want to start off with the Synergist Saboteur one, but maybe not with the bombs out.
Nothing to it.
Recess!
Okay, gonna kill that bomb first, because I don't like it. Okay, I've already completely scanned this one. I should be scanning the bombs, though.
Follow the old man's lead. Thanks, Vanille. Watch and learn, kid.
God, Sass's animations are so cool. Like, you'll notice that he's actually attacking twice for every one of those shots. Like, there's 2 numbers that come up for every one.
To the victor go this morning.
Yeah, it's true. I wasn't paying attention, and I definitely could have not let the chain bar on the soldier fall if I'd attacked early, which is a thing you can do by pressing Y. I am, So I've been streaming a lot with Miguel and Andy every week, but this is my 4th time streaming on my own. I'm still pretty bad at focusing on 2 things at once. Hopefully that's something I get better at, or maybe not. We'll see. Okay, let's try using Fort Assault. But yeah, right now I'm more concerned about bombs.
Way to go, Zach!
Oh, please, 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 no. Yeah, don't... I do not love the bombs. I like their design, but they're kind of jerks.
Keep it together, Pop.
So I feel like the thing about like strategy and RPGs is that a lot are just like a little too easy, especially a lot of older ones often don't like ever have hard gates around difficulty, so as a result you're not really like forced to learn how to strategize really well. So like, and also just like the fact that a lot like lean heavily on like grinding as a way of getting more powerful means that you're not necessarily forced to think strategically, you just spend more time. So, like I think this is honestly one of the biggest challenges in RPG design is finding good ways of like making sure players learn how to be strategic, and having instances where like you're gated around learning the right strategy, and also like doing it in interesting ways that aren't just like simple like puzzle bosses, because a lot of puzzle bosses are like often they're designed around you learn a single gimmick that only works once. And these are all things that I'm very nervous about myself in my own game. I don't know how well I'll be teaching that.
Come to Papa.
Oh man, these enemies I really like. Friggin' gremlins. Yeah, Norad mentions that I've been talking a lot about my own personal design school. Has been trying to think about enemies in terms of like having really obvious gimmicks and abilities. Because I think like, I think there are two problems. The first is when all your enemies, like, are basically, like, behaviorally identical. and just like have like different models. A lot of classic Final Fantasy really struggles with this, where enemies are basically functionally the same, but like they did a ton of art. But like it doesn't actually affect the way you're approaching them in combat at all. And the other problem is that if your enemy behaviors are just too complex, if the differences are too complex, the player can't actually internalize what the difference is. So, like, if you want it to be intuitively able for the player to understand what the difference between enemy encounters are, I think a really good way of doing that is giving them, like, one really big difference. And, like, abilities are a good way of doing that.
Can't we just talk this over?
Making it, like, a big, obvious behavioral thing. Ah. Okay, whatever. Almost got him. No, I want to use Libra on a gremlin.
Thanks, Vanille.
And yeah, one of the big things is that once you have like enemies with like a single distinct ability, and the player understands like what that single distinction is, you can then build more complicated systems out of like what enemies you pair together. So, but like making sure that players understand what those enemy abilities are really is the first step. And I'll talk about that a little more once I show off some of the get in the car loser encounters, because this is something I've been thinking about a lot, designing those. Anyway, pardon me for just 1 minute. I'll be right back. Miguel, this is too many friends. Claude girl, you're cute, but this is just too many. Too many cephalopods. feel like a big thing about Chrono Trigger that like really made its design work is that it did all revolve around bosses that have like two friends that like have like sub behaviors, and like the fact that it's so consistent about those rules really helped you build like internal mental models for how you're like gonna figure out how does this boss work. And like the fact that it ties in at the end with like how Lavos is built. Like the fact that every boss follows really similar patterns means that they can like easily evoke them without even showing you like what they look like. Although, yeah, like the positioning system wasn't necessarily super interesting. Okay, so here's the problem with bombs in... Yeah, sorry, Lavos shows you what they look like, but I feel like even without, like, showing you, like, that little, like, flash of, like, the boss image, but... Like, the behaviors are something that you've remembered, so you see the boss and you go, oh, I know how to fight that guy. I remember he had these two parts, and this is how they worked. Okay, so I think bombs are a really good monster design in most Final Fantasy. You know, it's a good gimmick. Enemy you have to defeat quickly or it'll do huge damage. That's like very easy to understand. Immediate pressure. They always have like a very specific elemental weakness. So they're actually easy to kill if you're just like thinking strategically. But
Let's get this over with.
They don't work well in this game because, okay. Fuck, I need to scan this guy because I am not exploiting the weaknesses.
Not bad.
But the problem in this is that because there's no like macro economy of health, your health is recovered at the end of every fight. So in like a classic Final Fantasy game, a bad encounter with a bomb means that you need to like use up resources. It means that like if you fuck up fighting a bomb, you have to use up a bunch of potions or something, and like more than in a normal fight. Whereas in this, so long as you survive it, you're fine. And there's no penalty for not surviving it because you can just immediately restart, which is normally a good part of... Which is like normally a good part of the combat in this one. It's more puzzle-based, but the fact that like it's not a running penalty means that like it doesn't really matter.
Follow the old man's lead.
So that's unfortunate, because, man, their designs are great. I love them. As I'm sure everyone will find out and get in the car, where we do have our own type of bomb, and it's real annoying. Just, like, they're awful. They're the worst. I'm so sorry. Like, I will say that, like, when the bombs are combined with other enemies in this, that can make it good because, like, it turns into you strategize around, I need to defeat this bomb first before I can kill, like, the big tanky enemy. That's a very basic encounter design, but it's good. Okay, let's try using some support abilities during this. That might go better. I've not been using this paradigm at all, and I think probably I should.
Follow the old man's lead.
What? I don't think these enemies are safe. I think they're just, like, I think they're robots from Pulse. Or at least that's my assumption based off Pulseworks Soldier, but, like, they don't appear to be people in any way, so I assume not. Let's try dual casting. I want this guy fucking staggered.
You got this, Benil.
Okay, that seemed to work out pretty okay strategically.
Hope the wires aren't fried.
Ren, I think that's exactly it though. Like, they're clearly interested in the Purge as like a political tool, but they don't actually really give a shit about like what's going on the edges. Like, it really is just a suppression thing.
Let's get this over with.
Like, on the one hand, you know, having all these enemies around in like an area on the outskirts is very traditional RPG design. It's there to give you something to fight. But I do think it also like shows something interesting about the way that like the way that Cocoon civilization is structured, that the moment you go even slightly outside of what's visible, like, the fal'Cie just don't even give a shit. Okay, what else do I have to hit? Was it the gate over there that I opened? No.
Did it! It worked!
Aha, yeah, okay. No? Okay, what the fuck am I doing here? Got that one. Oh, I see. I missed this one.
Better not electrocute myself.
I mean, I think the point of the purges is that they don't actually really care about whether or not they're actually rounding up l'Cie or not. Like, presumably the overlords do, but I don't think, like, SciComm cares, given that, you know, there are political benefits to being in the Guardian Corps. Like, explicitly, they don't purge people who are in the Guardians, even though, like, even when Lightning is, in fact, going against them.
We can take him.
So, like, I don't think that's a plot hole. I think that's just,
Other machines, huh?
I think that's just fascism.
We got this, Vanille.
Nice timing.
That did not accomplish anything. So that's me using an attacker, like, 'cause I really want to push them over the... No, no, no. Okay, didn't quite work. So I'm just going to switch back to a paradigm with Commando, because Commandos keep the bar from falling so quickly. Andy, you'll see more as we go along. I think the things you're asking about right now are things that the game actually is, like, interested in and will be addressed as we get further on.
Did you see that coming? Thanks, rubber nail.
Taciturasa, just talking about Mass Effect, I didn't like Liara that much in the first. Like, I felt like her writing was, like, actually kind of egregiously bad. But, if you play the DLC, Lair the Shadow Broker, that's, like, the turning point of her being a really good character, and I really love her from that point forward. Just like a really dramatic difference between the first game and what they eventually figured out was a more interesting direction to take with her character. Because, yeah, no, I absolutely love her in 2 and 3 so much.
We gotta sleep somewhere. This look okay?
Yeah. Fine by me. All set. Okay, good night.
Not a care in the world.
Yeah, 80% of the population supports the Purge is a line of dialogue that really pulls a lot of weight.
Do not cross this line. Understood?
Grow up.
And good night again.
Did you just go to sleep already? Still a kid.
Oh. Well, that's how it is. Saz is good.
Couldn't run if you wanted to.
Look at you. Wonder what's under the hood of that thing.
Keep your pants on. You'll get a peek soon enough. Just try and behave.
I'm not gonna make any promises.
All the
See
mechanical
before you
design here is really
We'll see how
unnecessary,
long
but it's
that
also
lasts.
really good. Yeah, Fang and Snow is just a really good character dynamic.
He's come to meet you.
Halt!
You must be Snow. Sid Raines, Brigadier General of the fleet.
Hi, Sid. Thanks for the escort.
Apologies. I just had a few questions to ask you. If it works like they tell us, that means she must have fulfilled her focus.
Sarah!
Fulfilled her focus. As a tainted pulse l'Cie, that is.
You think she was out to hurt Cocoon?
I'd hardly be alone if I did. When it comes to Pulse, who could claim to know anything? I need the truth, for the sake of Cocoon.
The sake of Cocoon. We're from Cocoon. Shipping us out, purging innocent people. That's how you lend us a hand?
Those are the Sanctum's methods. The public fears what it doesn't know. It's grown tired of living in constant terror of these threats from the world below. So, the Sanctum devised a plan for you, l'Cie.
I'll bet.
A public execution. The people don't know any better. Strike down the phantoms before their eyes, and they sleep like babes.
No!
The Sanctum has intelligence on the other l'Cie already. It's only a matter of time.
You'll never catch them.
I see. We'll need your help then, won't we?
Sarah. You're kidding, right?
I mean it.
You can't drop the breakup bomb like that. Being alone's all right, I guess. Yep. Always was until we met. Then we did. And now I know there's something better. Being with you. We've come too far to quit now.
It's not your choice.
You really want to leave me?
I don't want to. I have to. Listen, it's over. Please, just stay away from me.
The bandage is covering up her l'Cie brand.
At least tell me that. If it was something I did, just say it.
Okay. Look. Branded by Pulse. I'm a l'Cie.
No.
Enemy of Cocoon. Danger to us all. Get it now? You're my enemy. Goodbye.
I really like these giant stock plants in the background. They're just like slightly weird enough.
Sarah!
Sarah, Where are you?
Snow, where are you headed? Kinda boring, you think, for this
Yeah, same. The new Bodom's track is really good. Both the tracks for that.
What's with the long face?
That's
You and Sarah
the
have a
song they
fight.
have that's based on this one in the sequel. Actually, I guess it's not based on this one. It's just associated with Bodom. But yeah, it's really good.
Hey, Snow. You on patrol? Not much creeping around today.
Yeah, people just talk to you when you're around. You don't press a button or anything.
Just another quiet day on the beach.
But also, like, you don't respond.
So Godot's helping me train.
Hey, Snow, where are you headed?
Sarah!
What is your focus? LaCie have a focus, right? I'll go with you. Help you do it. Just let me.
No, if you're with me, the
I
Sanctum
will be with you. No matter what. We've come too far to quit now.
I don't know. I don't know my focus. I'm gonna be a monster.
Not if I'm here. I'll protect you. We'll figure this out. Do it together, okay?
Okay.
I'm sorry, but Snow is actually really good. I really like him a lot, and they're a very cute couple.
If it's true what they say,
It's really endearing.
when we're finished, I'll turn to Crystal.
Don't worry. When LaCie complete their focus, they're blessed with the gift of eternity.
And they just, like, really nailed that smug grin. It's so good.
You'll see. You and me will always be together.
Even if death was all that she had waiting, nothing would have changed. Sarah was brave enough to face it.
Can't believe we made it.
That'll slow down pursuit.
But aren't there troops on this side? We can't relax just yet.
Right. We press on. I'll take point. You watch our backs.
Actually, why don't you let me take point?
Can you handle it?
It's not a question of can or can't.
Now you're learning. Keep your eyes front. I'll watch the rear.
Got it.
Now you're learning. Pithy, stoic statements of intent. That's how you do it.
I've got your back. You call the shots now.
This is a really good environment.
Don't stray too far.
How am I doing for items? Should I... I'm fine. Eventually I'm gonna have to show how weapons work, but we're not there yet.
Just block out everything else.
Oh yeah, Libra, I keep forgetting. Yep, that's Ren, that's the game. I'm really just avoiding upgrading as long as possible because I don't want to explain it. It's not a good system.
Just another battle. Use the lights as a guide to keep us moving in the right direction.
It's weird because that, like, the whole thing with the light and, like, having a vocal bark, calling it out really feels like something that people had trouble with in playtesting, but I can't imagine why, because these areas are really easy to nap. Yes, there's launch! Lightning, I really like Lightning, and I really like the way she was written in Lightning Returns especially. I feel like she's really good as a lone protagonist, actually. Especially once, like, you start, like, taking her... The moment she's put in the role as a protagonist, it means that, like, you can take the piss out of her and, like, it's funny. There's a lot of, Lightning Returns has a lot of good stuff. There's the bit where she has to... She's very embarrassed to say the secret password, meow meow choco chow, because that's not very serious and, like, that's not like her. And she's on a mission from God, okay? She doesn't have time to be saying silly things like that. There's the bit where you have to dress her up in a ball gown, mandatory, also really good.
Right behind you.
There's just, like, I feel like there's a lot of really good, the whole bit with Fang in that game.
Have you ever been here before?
But yeah, I really like her.
No, I haven't. This area is covered by the Woodlands Observation Battalion. You scared?
Not really. I'm ready to fight if I have to.
To keep you safe. I'll want it back.
Lightning. I'm glad I followed you. By myself, I would have had no chance.
It's so important. Always put the butch in a dress. It's, you know, it's feminist and gay rights. That's just, it's just important. It's the representation that we need. It's extremely woke to force femme your butch. That's not even a question.
I can do this.
Yeah, you may note it's not quite dramatic yet, but launch does exactly what it sounds like. It launches the enemy into the air. She'll just do it at an opportune moment, at which point normal attacks, she'll jump up to attack them in the air, but also like attacks on the ground that are from a range will keep that juggle going, so you can just keep juggling people for a pretty long time and it will like interrupt them. It's good and it's really funny. Yeah, well, launch prevents enemies from attacking, so it's real good. I don't love the encounter design on these guys. They don't seem very interesting. This is again a problem with. It's a little bit disappointing having gone from the area with the bombs and like the really tough enemies that you had to stagger to go to these ones where they're not doing anything with them yet. Like they're definitely good, weird design, just in terms of the encounter. It's not quite. I don't know, it's just not interesting. What are my paradigms? I don't... I feel like I want... Yeah, medic and commando is always important. Let's start off with synergist. Yeah, that's good.
The military uses this place for bioweapons research. Lots of angry teeth and claws.
Yeah, I guess med would be
Just
useful.
block out everything else.
I'll throw it in there if I start having trouble.
Here.
Good call.
I'm gonna remember to use Libra. Tell me about more. That's not useful information.
Does this work better, Light?
Oh, let's take out this guy first. Okay, that definitely did damage.
Study your enemy's actions. That'll help you form a strategy.
Would definitely be real nice if I had Sentinel. I feel like that's a lot better than med, honestly. I will say I don't love a commando auto ability being named Ravage. I feel like that's causing some ambiguity with you know, the class Ravager. Like, it's related to a Ravager, but it's still, I feel like I would have gone for something else there.
Here.
That's it,
I did it.
Just another battle. another battle.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going until I hit save point, and then I'm gonna switch over to get in the car.
Don't stray too far.
Hopefully that'll be soon-ish. Might be another few minutes though. Let's fight this big guy.
We can't just rush into this one.
Oh, just watch me. Okay, yeah. It's a tough one.
Come on, Light.
If you like Final Fantasy XIII, I would definitely highly recommend playing the sequels, especially Lightning Returns. Because they iterate on a lot of what's they iterate a lot on this. I feel like they really pull out what's interesting in this, and drop a lot of the elements that like just don't really land. And Lightning Returns particularly is just Lightning Returns is like a really weird experimental game. I was not expecting this from Square at all, but like it really feels like an experimental B game in the best way possible. They cite Majora's Mask as like a strong influence on it. And okay, Hope can get launched too.
Be ready for the next fight.
But yeah, Final Fantasy XIII 2 has combat that's basically the same as this, but tighter and a little more refined in ways that work really well. Lightning Returns takes the systems in this and ports them over to like a single character more action combat-y system. And I feel like it works really well.
What is it?
We need to hide.
Like it captures the feeling of combat in Final Fantasy XIII while
They
being
don't seem
pretty
like they're
different.
even looking for us. I mean, we're fal'Cie and we're on the loose.
PSICOM's keeping it all under wraps. They don't want their failure publicized. Better to lose us than lose their pride.
So the other soldiers don't know about us, right?
Right. They don't know anything about any fugitives.
I will say Final Fantasy XIII 2 is also a little bit of a disaster. It's
Time to move.
It does an extremely good job with the incredibly low budget that it has, but also you can tell that it's very low. But also like some of the stuff that those constraints make it do are just like deeply weird in an interesting way, like the valley where every character has been replaced by blood orbs,
Never lose sight.
which like is as weird as it sounds. I still like it, but it's weird. Okay, so I'm going to be switching over to get in the car now. Just bear with me for a second. And I will get everything switched over. Yeah, that'd be great. I'll particularly need help with the volume because
Yeah.
This game is a lot.
Changed the description already?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I'm just gonna jump into a fight really quickly because that'll give us some audio.
Okay, let me also go get the,
If you can just be prepared to adjust that quickly because it's loud.
okay. Would help if I was plugged in. One sec. Okay.
I'm just jumping into battle quickly so we can do a sound check and make sure it's not too loud. Do we have the levels okay?
Yeah, I think the levels are good.
Okay. Okay, so now we should switch over the game. And I will make a tweet saying that now is a great time to join in.
You know your game's an adventure game?
I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Tag.
Well, it's really not.
Sorry, which disagrees, so you must be wrong.
Getting the car loser does not have polyamory, but only because Sam. I don't even think Sam's really ready for monoamory. She's got a lot to work through. Okay, so what I wanted to show off today is if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen that I've been implementing a difficulty feature called the Devil Clock, and what that does is that it enables some optional challenges to make battles harder. So first I guess I'm just going to show some of the other encounters that I haven't shown off yet, and then I'll go into how they're different based on the Devil Clock. So let's jump into Act 2. Okay, candles in the party, yep. So, I'm going to show off some of the elemental enemies. Yeah, let's start off with this guy. So this is a grass elemental enemy. We often pair them with healers, but we'll have some weirder combinations later. And they have the ability to do this attack that immobilizes the target until you hit them. So now Sam's free, but now it's doing it on Angela. So I'm gonna hit that. And then I'm gonna stagger him before he has a chance to actually do that again. Also, because this is a grass enemy, it has an elemental weakness to fire, so that's why I was getting staggered really fast. As you're seeing, it takes longer for the other enemy because it doesn't have that weakness. Yeah, so I've been very upfront about this. Getting the Car Loser is very inspired by Final Fantasy XIII. It's taking a lot of the ideas that I really liked in Final Fantasy XIII and you know, like looking at how they experimented with them and pulling them in a direction of my own. So we have the stagger meter, we have a system that's very similar to Paradigms but works a little bit differently. So here's the water elemental enemy. And it has the animations aren't fully in for it yet. We want to have like a little like splash of water coming out of its nozzle and like hitting the character. So yeah, that's not quite in yet, but once that's in, it'll be a little more clear. But the way it works is that it has this continuous attack that does increasingly more damage over time, but also you can interrupt it to stop it. So, yeah, there we go. So it starts off doing a little damage, but like it adds up over time. So like keeping track of the salamanders and like hitting them the instant they start this bullshit is real important. It also works with taunts normally. They'll attack whoever's taunting. So, and those are the only attacks that either of those two enemies have. Like, it only works that way. So one of like my big goals there was that I don't want elemental enemies to like only be distinguished by their elements. Otherwise, like I don't think it's really interesting. I think if they'd just been based on the elements and nothing else, they'd be like perfectly balanced. And I think generally systems are more interesting if there's a slight imbalance there that the player has to figure out how to work around. But yeah, so I want to show off the Devil Clock, which is a feature that adds in an extra challenge. This is going to be tied into like some of the bonus quests and items you can get. Will like require you to do Devil Clock fights, or you can do them if you're looking for more of a challenge. One of my big goals here is that I want the game to be, if you're playing normally on like the easier difficulty, I want it to be no more challenging than like the average Final Fantasy game. But if you're looking for a challenge like I am, I feel like RPGs are more fun when they're hard. I think they're more interesting that way, so the Devil Clock is there so that I can balance stuff around what I think is actually difficult. Right now I'm very early on in implementing this feature, but I just want to show some of the stuff I'm doing with it. So I'm going to do that that battle with the grass enemy again. This time with the Devil Clock activated. Actually, no. First, I'm just going to show it off in just a normal battle, just so we can like run through what it does. And then I will go into how it modifies those behaviors. So, if you look in the corner, I might need to increase the contrast on that for streaming. I'm not sure. It might not be quite high contrast enough, but you'll see that you have these 2 meters that are increasing over time, and those offer buffs to the enemies. So +5 damage means that the enemy's base damage is increased by 5, which is actually a lot, because they normally do 10 damage, so that's increasing it by, 50%. The second one here is rank up, is that it increases the enemy's level, so... And yeah, those are buffs that stack. They come in one at a time, and in some fights they take longer to come in than others. We have some where they come in like where like one will come in almost instantly, but the other will be like the time bomb ticking over your head. In others, it's just gonna be like, you know, like the way that like the bomb challenge works is that like you're trying to kill it really quickly. In the same way, this is, you know, the sword of Damocles hanging over your head. If you don't kill this enemy really quickly, it's gonna rank up, and then you're really in trouble. And part of the way that ties into the systems is that, let me run that again. For example, a way to play really cautiously is to just always be taunting and always be healing, so that way you never have any health attrition. Healing doesn't carry over after a fight ends, but like, because they're constantly doing damage, it's still a really good strategy. But also, if you're doing something this slowly, that means that the enemies are going to get those buffs really quickly, and it's not going to be able to keep up. So that's like a bit of time pressure to encourage you to change those strategies and not like play really conservatively. Otherwise, like that was something I was noticing, especially in one of the boss fights, was that like normally without that extra challenge, it would encourage you to be conservative. And the impetus for this was actually, I was showing the game to my friend Alexander Martin, who's a really smart game developer, way better at game design than I am, frankly. And I was having trouble with the boss, and it was just like in a situation where like I was worried it wasn't killing you fast enough if you weren't prepared for the fight. So his suggestion was, what if there's like a countdown timer that forces you to act quickly? And it didn't end up being useful for that boss fight, but it was a really good idea that fit in here. So that's where the devil clock came in. So let me show you how it's not just like buffs in the form of like increasing stats. Those are just the basic ones. And yeah, this is an optional difficulty mode. You can turn it off for any fight. You can turn it off. You can turn it on. You can turn it off again. The goal is to have like, I want the difficulty to feel a lot like The World Ends With You, where like it was just a slider on the option screen that you're like constantly fucking with, depending on how you want to approach that fight and like what you want the drop rates to be. So I want to be, if you're having too easy a time, you can just kick up the difficulty. If you're having too hard a time, you can just drop it down. If you're really stubborn like me, you'll kick it up and then leave it on forever and like get really annoyed that you're getting your ass kicked constantly, even though obviously that's gonna happen. That's just me. I'm stubborn. Yeah, so let me show you how you can also modify behaviors. And this feature isn't on by default, by the way. Sorry. First, I'm gonna fully heal, then I'm gonna show that off. Do I not have a command that heals me? Wow, I really should put that in. Yeah, getting your ass kicked by your own game is definitely, it's a good feeling, honestly. I feel like the weirder one is when, like, it's something that you've got down, but then you're streaming it, so, like, you're only half paying attention, and then you get your ass kicked by something that like, you know the ins and out of in, like, really, in a lot of detail, but you still got fucked up by it. Okay, so let's run this battle again. And so the first one is effect damage. And what that means is whenever something has an ability, these names are all liable to change. This is just like my ad hoc names. But basically the way it works is that every time something has an ability, it now will do damage. So you'll see that as this guy is doing the tug, every so often it's doing 8 points of elemental damage to Grace. And there's one, and the other ability that it has is one called Sturdy. And what that means is that its abilities are not interruptible anymore. So you can hit him, but he won't let go. So basically the only way to get rid of that now, Grace has been taken out of combat until, well, either she dies or it dies. So, obviously that's something that really changes the way you approach these enemies. Let's heal up again. And for the salamander fight, it has two different, so for him the first ability is Sturdy. So now you can't interrupt the attack at all until it runs out. Which is, and I think I need to adjust the timers on these. I think right now it's a little too tight. But the second ability is Endless, which means that it just goes on forever. Which is a really obnoxious combination with Sturdy, because it means you can't interrupt it. You just have to kill him real fast. And yeah, the effects apply to every enemy, or at least every enemy will get like, they'll try to give it the buff. Endless doesn't give anything to anyone else. If you don't have a continuous attack, okay, so part of my problem is right now I have Grace equipped with an elemental water item, which is really bad, and I should take that off. But I keep forgetting that she has it, and every time I use an attack with her, it just heals the enemy. So, this is why paying attention is very important. And there's also a bug here where the salamander should not be starting to... two bugs. One, Grace should have died there, so... Yeah, I can't... It's not playing her death animation, and I'm not sure why, so, let me just take a quick note of that so I can remember. Extremely not supposed to happen.
Oh, we've been doing this on the long.
Oh.
Yeah. I only
Thank you.
realized that because I tried to do this. They hit the desk, and like, they hit the desk or wasn't there. Something's wrong.
Can endless jerk patrol spawn endless numbers of jerks? Oh my god, that is evil. I'll definitely think about that one. Victory, but at what cost? Krobisaur in chat asks if I'll ever implement an angel clock. God, that would probably be worse. The angels fucking suck in this game. They're just like... I mean, like, they're cops, so... Whatever an angel clock would be, that's not a good... The Jerk Patrol is an enemy that, summons friends whenever as its ability, so, like, it can call for reinforcements, and... it's real annoying. Yes, there are attacks that are, there are abilities that will attack every enemy. There's not, like, locational area of effect or anything, but, like, there's stuff that will just hit everyone. So, let me, I was just tweeting about, something I was discovering while putting together encounters is, there are some combinations that just, like, there are some combinations that fucking suck. That are just, like, awful. They're, like, basically, enemy abilities that just, like, synergize a little too well. So, let me just show one or two of those. Or just one, because that's what I've got in. So, in this game, you've seen the Salamander. The Salamander is the one that has, like, that continuous attack. I also have an enemy called Absolute Terror. That's like an enemy tank. And it has an ability where, actually, let's turn off the Devil Clock for a second, because that'll make this too hard. Honestly, this combination already sucks. So, the Absolute Terror enemy is an enemy tank. You can try and interrupt the Salamander, but it takes it instead. So, you cannot attack any other enemy while this guy's up. Meaning, you can't interrupt this attack. So, now that he's dead, I can hit this guy, but so long as it's alive, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, wow, I never thought about it that way, but our tank enemy is like a literal tank. Logical brings up the law system from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which I really liked. I feel like that ties into my, I don't know, I really like it when games force you to recontextualize things and, like, change up your strategies. And, like, the law system is a really good way of doing that, just by, like, banning certain party compositions. if I had to quantify how gay and trans is this game, it's pretty extremely. I always feel weird using queerness as like a marketing bullet point. It feels like it's personally something that I always look for as a marketing bullet point, but also I feel awkward about that as an artist. So like I don't play it up, but it's fucking gay. Sam is really fucking gay, and also will hopefully one day get her shit together. I'm really, really pulling for Sam. And here, I'll just turn on the double clock. You probably already have an idea of what that's gonna look like. Oh yeah, I haven't shown some of these backgrounds yet, but so yeah, as you can see, because the salamander's there, I've given this the sturdy and endless abilities. So once he gets started, he's just gonna keep doing lots of damage, and there's nothing you can do until you take this guy down. So, oh, okay, I think it's just this enemy is interrupting the death animation. That's interesting. But yeah, once this starts happening, like, time to start healing, cause they're just gonna keep taking damage forever. Right now the behavior, I'm still working out some of the kinks, but okay, that time it triggered. Wow, that's weird. But yeah, I want it to be that like even staggering a sturdy enemy will not interrupt the attack, but they won't attack while they're in stagger. So like if they kill someone with it, but then while they're staggered, then they'll be neutralized. I'm still like adjusting that, figuring out like how that's gonna work exactly. Part of the thing is that like I want these to be extra challenging, but I don't want it to be too much bullshit. What other things were people asking? The Devil Clock abilities are all pre-made combinations based on what enemies are in the encounter. So that way, like, I can handcraft them around what's like the most interesting challenge for this specific enemy. So like some will have just like normal, like it does more damage, ranks up. But it also means that part of it is that originally a lot of these abilities were inside the enemies. So like the salamander enemy originally didn't have the maximum damage, it just went on forever until you hit it out of it. So I realized, wait, that's kind of hard, so instead having the Devil Clock actually lets me take some of the things that are interesting but were too hard and move them into the harder difficulty, making like normal mode more easy. So like that's why they're handcrafted, is so that I can do like different things for each encounter. I think that's it for now. That's about as far as I've gotten with this feature so far. There's still a lot of tuning, and as you can see, there's a couple bugs surrounding some of these enemies that only becomes apparent when you get your ass kicked by them, which clearly streaming is a really great way of finding that out. But yeah, I think that's about it for this week. Next Thursday, I will be continuing the stream, the fal'Cie road trip. I'll be showing off more Final Fantasy XIII. I have no idea what feature I'll be showing off next and get in the car, but I'm sure I'll figure it out over the next few days, and I'll probably be tweeting more about that, so if you follow me there, you'll see some. As well, Sunday, we are going to be streaming the 2008 action-adventure exploration game, Prince of Persia, which is, personally, I think it's kind of a really underappreciated gem. I haven't played it in a while. I'm really excited to play it. Miguel and Andy will be joining me, and they've never played it, so hopefully they like it as much as I do. Otherwise, yeah, see you later. Thursday and Sunday. Thanks for joining me.
They stop the stream. Look, we just want to wait for a while.
Miguel, please hit the stop stream button. Or I could just wait forever.